Hey guys, my name is Jennifer and I am Genevieve Designs, and today we're going to do a little bit of a journal with me in my traveler's notebook that I took to Madecon in Texas in March. And I also wanted to do some of the stuff that I did in the workshop from Madecon in Texas as well. But before I do that, yesterday's video, which today I guess is Wednesday, so not yesterday, today's video, I recorded it yesterday, I forgot something. I felt so bad. One of my students gave me this coffee mug, and it's a Texas Starbucks coffee mug, and I feel so bad because I forgot about it because it's in my cabinet. I use it. I drink coffee out of it. I use it for soup. I use it all the time. So the person who gave me this was Joyce, and I'm not even going to try to say her last name, but there it is. And I feel so bad because it was so sweet of her to give me a piece of Texas, you know. So thank you, Joyce. I'm so sorry. She also gave me some popcorn. I wrote that on the little tag here so that I wouldn't forget, and I forgot anyways. Only because I use it all the time and it wasn't with the stuff, you know what I mean? So Joyce, thank you for the coffee mug. I use it all the time. I catch my kids using it. I catch my husband using it. So we love it. Thank you. And then I have a few more things as well. Cindy Fleming, remember she gave me this bag of, let me make sure I say it right. We don't want to say it wrong. They are freshwater pearl buttons. That looks like they're hand cut, hand dyed freshwater pearls. So I'll leave that here. I'll even zoom in a minute if you guys want to pause and read that. Hopefully it's in focus. All right, if you want to pause it and read that whole paper to find out the story of these little buttons, go right ahead. But what I wanted to tell you is this is my bag, right? I was looking through my box of Madecon stuff and I found 2 more bags. So what happened is there might have been a no-show in my class, or maybe somebody accidentally left theirs, I don't know. But I have 2 extra ones, and Cindy, if it's okay with you, I want to add them to the giveaway of these 2 perfect trim rulers. What do you think? You think that's okay? So there'll be 4 winners versus 2 winners. And these are really, really pretty buttons. So I think you guys will really get a big kick out of these vintage buttons. So if that's okay with you, Cindy, I'm going to add them to this giveaway. So I'm glad I went back and looked. And there's also the same note that I got with all the information on there. And then I also got some of these ATC cards I wanted to share with you guys really quick. So this one says, I don't even know how these things were made, but they were, this one says #DreamBig, and this one was Connie. She was on my design team, so isn't that pretty? It kind of looks like a decoupaged napkin or something, but that was her ATC card. And then Share Handmade Kindness. This one was Bobby Joe Cooper. Bobby Joe, she was so sweet. Look how cool that is. Isn't that pretty? And then this one, check this out. Isn't that cool? This one is, it has a title, but I can't read it. Artist is Fancy Nancy. Pencil sketch and digital media. I don't know. This was Madecon 2018. It doesn't, the only thing it says is Fancy Nancy. I don't know who that is. But isn't that cute? And then the other ones that I've gotten were, this says Enjoy Life on it, but isn't that pretty? This one was from Michelle. There is her name. She actually works for May May. And then I believe this one is hers too. It says Cherish the Little Things. And it's kind of like, looks like it went through an embossing folder. This one was also Michelle's. So isn't that pretty? So anyway, I wanted to share that with you. I forgot about these. And so I'm glad that I went back and looked through when because Joyce told me that, oh, do you have the mug? I've completely forgot about the mug. So I went back trying to look for all the different information that I have left from Made-A-Con. So I found these and I found those buttons. So I'm glad that I looked. So if you're interested in winning these buttons, I will put a link to the, yesterday's video or today's video. And just comment down below, and all you have to do is tell me what your favorite paper craft is, and you have to be a subscriber of mine, and then that's it. So again, thank you ladies for sending me these things. Well, you didn't send me these things, you brought me these things. They're so beautiful. All right. Maybe I should put these trading cards, maybe I should put them in my traveler's notebook, my Made-A-Con traveler's notebook. All right, we'll sit that over there. So I was looking through my notebook here, and I had, this is the class. This is the Whimsical Blooms class, and it was in March. So I have some pictures, and I was going to go ahead and do like a little journal with me with these. I think I was going to do something like this. Look at this. My husband took this picture. It was this huge TV, and I couldn't believe it. It was just so surreal seeing my name on this big TV. But anyway, so my husband took that, and he also took a picture during the class. So I thought I would do something here on this page. But before I do that, I wanted to also add, I might not have any space. Oh, I could probably put it here. Maybe I could put this whole thing over here. There's extra pictures. Maybe I could do something here. Maybe. We'll see. So, and then I wanted to do this video for you guys to show you, you know, kind of the basics of what we did. So I wanted to add those into my traveler's notebook as well. So we've got extra pages. So this is literally what I took for this class. So we have the Prima Pastel Dreams watercolor set. So pretty. It's one of my favorites. I love soft, muted, and they're almost like vintage looking colors. I just love it. I just love it. So there's that. I took that. And then I took these little mini ink cubes and ground espresso, picked raspberry, seedless preserves, and salty ocean, and mowed lawn. So this is exactly what I took. I haven't even taken these out of this box. This is what I took to Made-A-Con. And then this is a Stamp It Up stamp, or Stamping Up Stamping Up Stamp It Up stamp. Shoot, I should have got the box, but it's two different sets. I'm pretty sure you can't get a hold of them anymore, but the reason I took these is I thought they would be really simple to show the technique. So, I mean, they're still even on the stamp block from when I did it and everything. And then also had made these laminated little mini palettes. It's kind of my business card on one side and then white on the other. So everybody got one of those that attended the class. And then I also took, I have a Tombow dual tip marker in black. And then I also took a Jane Davenport Incredible pen. I wish I had the package for this. I thought I did. I love this thing. Have I already told you guys that? I love this pen. If you don't have one of these pens, you need one in your life. I love this pen. And then I took a Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen. This is a black, and it's the small. So it's got like a tiny little nib, and it's not going to focus, of course. There we go. So it's got this tiny little nib. And then I also took a Sharpie pen. This is the one I took, actually. It's just a regular Sharpie pen. Well, but now, I didn't have these then, but I have them now. I have the exact same Sharpie pen, except it has my name on it. Can you guys see? It has my name on it. So, and hopefully here super soon, I am going to be able to list all of the different things that are left over from Medicon. So I'm going to offer the pencil and the Sharpie as a combo eventually when I, hopefully, maybe I'll do it this week for sale if you all are interested. Because this is a mechanical pencil and it's a Pentel, and it's, you know, you can replace the eraser and you can replace the lead. So it's not a disposable or a throwaway. So everybody that came to my class also got a pencil. And they also got a Post-it notepad. And it kind of looks like this. There's 5 different designs, whoops, in my Post-it notepad. So anyway, and I took a Tim Holtz water brush, right? This is the fine tip, or I think that's what, detailed tip water brush. This one is so frayed. I have used this and used this. So I thought what I would do, I'm not sure why I have a needle in here. Why do I have a needle in here? Oh, because I made a book. Why do I have a needle? So I thought instead of using the water brush from Tim Holtz that we would use the Nuvo Aquaflow pen, or water brush, sorry, that May sent me. So I'm going to use that, and I'm also going to use the glitter gloss pen water brush thingy, whatever you want to call it, from Nuvo that May sent me as well. So I thought that'd be fun to play around with those. And then I have some watercolor paper. I'm thinking, I don't remember what brand I was using at the time. If I can remember, I'll link it below. So I'll try to link everything below as best I can, except for the Stamp It Up flower. What is this? What is this called? Stamp. Goodness gracious. So the stamp and the block actually is Stamp It Up. I do like their stamping blocks. Their stamping blocks are probably still available, so check with your local Stamp It Up person. So the thought behind, the idea behind this class was that use the supplies that you have. And even if you're not an artist or a watercolorist, or because I am not, certainly not a watercolorist. Even if you're not, you can still get the same effect using the supplies that you already have, like stamps and inks. And you don't have to use this stamp. You could use whatever stamp that you would like. That would just happen to be the, you know, the easiest one I could find in my stash. So what I kind of did was I showed them 2 ways to get the same look, basically. So I took the pencil, and I'm going to use, because I got 2 sheets of watercolor here, so that, you know, I could show you both different techniques, but they kind of look the same. So all I did, and I probably should scoot you in. All right, so now that I brought you in close, I just want to show you a real quick way to draw a flower using a pencil, like a 5-petal flower, that is so simple. And if you don't put a whole lot of pressure while you're doing this, you know, just kind of like hold your pencil up a little higher, it makes a lighter mark versus, you know, being down there writing like this. You press a little harder. So if you just, you know, start like with this circle, like just a little circle. Can you see the little circle? I might have to bring you in a little even closer. Ooh, that's really close. I don't know how good my camera's gonna be able to focus on this here. Let's scoot that over. So I just started with like a really tiny little circle, and then you just kind of want to just make some petals, just really make some really light marks. Now if you want to, you could draw a bigger circle like this. Can you see this bigger circle? And then you can go back and use the outer edge of that circle just to make some petals. Now the great thing about flowers and nature is they are not perfect. They are never perfect. They never will be perfect. They're perfect in their own little way. So if your one petal is a little cattywamped, well, then that's just the way it's going to be. It's going to look realistic. It's going to look perfect. And it's going to give like a little artsy-fartsy flair, right? That's what I like to say, artsy-fartsy. So then I'm going to go back and I'm going to erase the lines in between the petals of the outer circle that I just drew there. No big deal, right? And then I'm going to kind of, if I got too many markings on the inside of the petal, I'm just going to gently erase those. Even if you get the actual petal itself erased a little bit, that's okay. Okay, so one thing I do like to do with my petals is they're not perfect, right? The edges are not perfect. They get frayed, they get wilted and all of that. So sometimes it's just fun to come in with another line like close to your original line, and it kind of looks like the petal is folding over on itself. So you could do that with all of them if you want, or none of them. It just kind of gives a cool, like, unique look to it without, you know, doing a whole lot to make it look fancy. So now I feel like this one needs a little bit more. So there's the basics of the big flower, right? So then let's go up here and let's do the same thing. Let's make a smaller flower. Whoops, that's probably too big of a, whoops. Probably too big of a circle. Or let's do one that's like half open, not a full face, but like a half a face. So the way you can draw that one is just kind of to draw a shape, kind of like a coffee cup, like this. And then what you want to do then is you just want to start to break it up. So for example, let's see, where do I want my first petal to be? So I'm just going to draw it like kind of like this, right? And so, and when you erase that sharp line right there, you kind of have the image of a petal. Can you see? Yes, you can. And then we're going to go ahead and add one over here. We're going to do that, right? So we've still got this one here. So let's go ahead and see. When I do these types of flowers, it never fails. It has more than 5 petals. So I can't seem to help myself. Okay, so let's just add one that's right here. How do I keep getting my eraser out? Right. So I'm not liking the look of that, so I'm just going to change the angle. So I did have it swooped, now I got it swooped. Yep, I just made up a word. Okay, so then I also want maybe another leaf that's like over here, right? Leaf, that's not a leaf, that's a petal. Oh, maybe I will have 5 petals. Oh, well, that would be, that'd be awesome. Well, I kind of don't like the way this one looks. There we go. So then what I want to do is, you know, there's greenery when you see them this way. So I'm just going to draw some leaves. Again, no big deal. And let's just do one more over here. All right. So now I'm just going to draw a straight line for the stem. And if you want, you could add, you know, some leaves on the stems. But for now, we're just going to leave it like that. So, can you see my flower? I kind of am not liking, when I look in the monitor, I'm not liking this one here. So, what can I do to fix that? Maybe we need to have it going more like, I don't know. Maybe it's this one that's throwing me off. So that's the lovely part about using a pencil, is that you can adjust easily. So I'm going to erase some of this. because I've got it pretty dark. And maybe I'll be able to tweak it a little bit. Maybe I should just add something in the middle there. Maybe that'll make me feel better. So, and so there's the base that is on. Okay. So now we got this flower, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, maybe I better scoot back just a little. I'm going to take these watercolors and I'm going to take my water brush, and this one is Tonic Nouveau. I'm pretty sure this is made by Tonic. Water brush, fine water brush. See how thick it is? I really enjoy how much water it holds. So then I'm just going to squeeze a little bit. Let's see. I'm really digging purples right now, purple and greens. So maybe I'll do a little bit of purple. So I just squeezed a drop in there, and then, sorry about that. I know I had that thing on silent. So frustrating. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I just squeezed a little bit of water into that purple. You couldn't even see it was off. So just this purple right here. I should probably scoot back just a little bit more. Yep, too close. Whoa. All right, now you can see. So you can do this two ways. You can go about this two ways. What I like to do when I'm painting flowers is I like to start towards the bottom. And this is on dry watercolor paper. So I like to start towards the bottom. And then, oh, I need a paper towel. I almost forgot my paper towel. And then work towards the top. Like this. Right? You can do it that way. Or you can add water first to the petal. Nope, there's still a little bit of purple left on there. And then you can drop your color in. Whichever way you like to do it, or want to try doing it, or try both ways. You might surprise yourself. Right? So, since this flower is going to be all one color, we're just going to go ahead and do all of it. So, I'm going to go ahead and drop water on all three petals. And then add some color. Some watercolor. I think the thing that I have the hardest time with when I'm watercoloring is showing restraint, to not keep messing and messing, because the beauty of watercolor is when it dries, it's so unique to any other medium that I've ever used. So it just dries in such a cool, like I feel like this is too much paint on this one. So I'm going to try to lift some of that up. I probably could even use a paper towel. There we go. So now I'm going to let this dry. I know you can still see the pencil lines, but that's okay. That's what we've got this other stuff for. Actually, the marker and this. But either way. So let's go up to this one. What color do we want to do this one? Should we do this one in blue? Let's try doing it in blue. So I think first I'm going to start with the greenery, and this set doesn't really have a nice green. So what I do is I take this green, like a realistic green, you know what I mean? I just mix that a little bit with the brown that's in here. Or did I use the darker brown? I think I might have used the darker brown. Yeah. Let's get some of this darker brown. Okay, so I'm going to get some more green. So then I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to start at the bottom of this stem thing, the base of it, and I'm just going to gently wipe some of that off. I'm going to just gently move it around, and then we can come back in a little bit and add some more detail to it, or some more depth to it, I guess. Let's go ahead and put that stem in too. Can y'all even see? Goodness gracious. Okay. So actually, I'm feeling like, again, too much paint, but that's okay. Okay, so now let's, I kind of want to make a blue flower, you guys. So I'm going to get in this color over here. I'm sure it has a name. It's called Ice Sky. Ice Sky. And I still have green on my brush. Awesome. I want to do maybe highlight it, or maybe make it darker with the blue next to it. The first color I used was Lilac Rain in this palette. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this whole drawing right here with this Ice Sky color. Be careful not to hit the green, even though it'd be alright if I did. Okay, so now I'm going to come in and add some detail to the pink flower. And I think, again, I'm just going to go into the purple, the Lilac Rain, right? And then I'm just going to hit it in certain spots. It's kind of, I feel like I'm kind of like drawing with my brush, but my brush is doing most of the work for me. And then where I have it like turned over, I like to like accentuate that, you know, like where it looks like it's turning on itself, the petal is. And so you can come back and do this as many times as you want to get it darker, darker, darker. Just as long as you remember to leave some areas light. So that's key too. You can't cover the whole thing up with color. You have to leave some areas light so that it gives it, you know, the natural depth of the flower. A little more detail. I have it turned over there and have it turned over there. Right? I guess we should probably do something to the center. I got way too much in there. Just take that up. I like it that watercolor is very forgiving as well. So awesome. You could even, if you wanted to, you could come in with some blue and really make it darker. But I just looked up in the monitor and it looks like these in here need to be darkened up just a little. I like. And there's not really like a good color that I like for the center here. What can I put there? I don't want to use, I guess I could use the same color, purple. Just like that, maybe add just a touch of that blue. And then we'll do some more detail with the marker. So can you guys see that? All right, so let's go back up to this blue up here. Let's go into that darker blue, which is called Pool Party. I got to be careful because there's a little bit of green on there. So I'm going to go on the parts that I think are going to be darker. So we're going to start with the innermost center petals. And we're just going to add just a little bit of color. Give it some dimension. Let's say this leaf is coming this way, or this leaf. Why do I keep calling them leaves? They're petals. bit darker under here. And right? So that looks pretty cool. So what do you think? Right? So now let me show you how to do it with inks. Let me get this off of here. With inks and a stamp. Now I've got a green brush. And then we'll set this aside to dry, and then we'll come back to it. So here's my other piece of watercolor, and here's my stamp. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with the lightest color, which is Picked Raspberry, right? And then I'm going to need my palette. And you know what? Since I used 2 colors on that, no, I'm just going to do 1. Okay, sorry about that. I don't know what is going on, but I put myself on like the no call list, and now I keep getting all these stupid calls. Anyway, so I'm taking the Picked Raspberry Distress Ink by Ranger and Tim Holtz, and I'm going to ink up my stamp here. I don't even think the stamp is clean. That's terrible. So I'm going to ink both of the little and the big one up here. And I am inking it pretty good, just so I make sure I get the whole thing. So then what I want to do is I'm going to take the palette that I made myself, and I'm going to stamp off on that. And I'm going to keep stamping off on that until I feel like it's barely there. So I'm just going to keep... Alright, so I feel like I'm good. So I'm going to use this, so don't wipe that off. So now I'm just going to stamp this on here. Let's see, how do I want to stamp it? Let's do it like this. Let's do it like this. I'm just going to barely stamp it on there. Can you see the image? Just barely. Okay. So then what I want to do is, let me scooch this one over a little bit. Let's take the Glitter Gloss pen by Nuvo, and let's make this one shimmery, shall we? Shimmery, shall we? How do we open this? There we go. Ooh, it's got a lot of shimmer in it. Wow. Maybe we should wait on the shimmer. Let's do the base first with just regular water. Okay, so then what you want to do, since Distress Inks reactivate with water, you can simply take this image that you just lightly stamped onto your watercolor, and you just go through and activate the ink, right? And I did leave a little bit too much ink for my liking on the stamp, but that's okay. You can always modify it. And I need a little bit more water. So I really like these water brushes, by the way. So we're just going to go ahead and activate the ink on both of these images to kind of soften them out. See, if I wouldn't have been so heavy-handed, there wouldn't have been so much sharp detail. If I would have, you know, stamped it off just a little bit more, it would have been better. Okay. So now we basically kind of blurred the stamp image, which is nice. So now we're going to come over here into the color we stamped off. We're going to pick up a little bit with our brush, our water brush, and we're going to do the same thing we did with this one. We're just going to dabble it in, and same thing, leave some white or lighter spaces. What's great about this too, this technique, is if you're new to watercoloring, which I really am, I'm not an expert at all, you can really learn a lot by doing this. And you also don't need to be, you know, a great artist either. So you can get this wonderful, fabulous look with little effort. Just a few supplies that you probably already have in your stash. So if you wanted to change like the edge of something, you just go ahead and add some ink there and soften it out. And I just took the, one of the bumps out. I'm going to do the same thing up here. So, or you wanted to change the overall shape of it, just do that. So it's not, there is no rules. So you just want to dabble and show a little restraint. And if you can't show restraint, that's okay too. It'll still turn out absolutely beautiful. Oops, I might have got it. Oops. My oldest dog is down there moving her bowls around. So, okay, so I'm going to change the top shape of this one as well, like that. And then now that makes me want to change the shape of all of them. Let's just go ahead and do that. And I like to be able to move my paper around when I'm doing something like this. It just helps me. And then I want to go back and add just a little bit more. I'm going to come back with another color, I think. And I'm going to add just a little bit more shadowy stuff. Right? So this is easy, right? Anybody can do this. I'm going to add a little bit of that pink. Ooh, got a little too much in the middle there. All right, I'm going to let that dry, I think, for a minute. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to start with the base here, picking up some color and then moving it around. Not the base. What is that? That's just the center. I'm starting with the center of the petal. This is so much fun to do. I love doing this in my junk journals and my art journals. I do it when I doodle. You know what I mean? Like if I'm sitting there watching TV or something and I've got these kind of supplies in front of me, that's what I do. I sit there and doodle. Why not? All right, so I'm going to change the shape of some of these. They're just too perfect for me. Let's go ahead and round them tips a little bit. Yeah. So in my mind, the more imperfect, the better. Okay. So then, y'all want to see a closer upper? Maybe. So there's what we got so far. Pretty cool looking. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this purple here. This is Seedless Preserve Distress Ink by Ranger and Tim Holtz. And I am going, y'all have seen me do this before, I'm just going to put, stamp it right onto that little laminated palette that I made. And I'm going to go right into it. See, it's really close to that same color, isn't it? But it's not. It's deep enough that you can add some more detail into the flower. If you wanted to get the flower petal wet again, let me put this on my palette over here. I'm just going to drop some water on my palette. Oops, you can't see it. I'm just going to drop some water on my palette there so that I can just come in here and wet this. And then come in here and drop some of this purple. Wow, it's really close to the same color. Isn't that weird? Okay. I'm going to do the same thing right here. I'm going to drop some water on the petal and drop some of this purple. That one just got really dark. make the base of the rest of them a little darker. I feel like this is like just as cool as watercoloring because you get like the same soft watercolor look without having to draw it. So I also want to, I think I'm going to put some of this Salty Ocean Blue Distress ink on here because I think I want to change the color of the little one to kind of match a little bit of what we did over here. Whoa. So I'm going to go ahead, maybe I should, where's my water? Maybe I should add a little bit of water to that. Not too much water. And I'm going to come back into this pink, I think, and let's do some like blending a little. Ooh. So you really can't make a mistake. Oh. Oh. I better go see what she wants. She's yelling at me again. I know. She's probably wanting some food. Oh, yeah, she's digging at her bowl there. All right, so let me go take care of her real quick, and this will dry by the time. In the meantime, I'll be right back. Okay, we'll see how long that lasts. No, I'm not sure. I'm not so sure. Oh, I did want to add some stems on this, so I'm going to take the Mode Lawn Distress ink, and I'm going to stick it over there. And let's see. I'm going to mix it a little bit with the pink so that it kind of like gives it more of a leafy green color versus, you know, the bright color that it is already. And I'm just going to draw a stem there, and then draw a stem. I like to overlap my stems. I don't know why. I just do. And if you did want to add a leaf, they're so easy. All it really is like a teardrop shape. So you just start making a teardrop one way, teardrop the other, and that's it. Nothing fancy. I like to do things in threes, so where should we add a leaf? Let's put a leaf coming out from behind there, like it belongs to that flower. Right? It's probably too big for that flower, but we're going with it because it was just an afterthought. Okay. So now I need to put some leaves on this one. Shoot. No, I don't. I can leave it just like that. So here's where we are so far. And so the next thing I like to do, so this is the, you know, this is the paint palette side, or the stamping ink side, and then this is the watercolor side. Let's put it up here like this. So then I like to take a detail pen. So first I'm going to use the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen. I don't know. My camera must be mad at me. It just doesn't want to work right. So this is what we're going to use first. And we're going to use this on the Prima watercolor drawing. And basically, you're just wanting to do like a messy outline. And you don't even have to have solid lines. Can y'all see what I'm doing? Let me scoot in. So you don't even need like solid lines. You can just be messy. And it looks so good, I think, in my opinion. You can even add a little bit of detail there at the base if you want to. And a few little dots inside there. And then the same up here, you know, you want to start adding some of that detail into these. And again, it takes a little to no effort to be able to do this. So it just changes like the whole look of it, don't you think? Oh wait, I forgot. You don't even have to get all of the areas marked. And there's another one here. As I go back and keep marking things. Yep. So what do you guys think? How's that look? Is that cool? Doesn't it look cool? So instantly it looks fancier than it did. Right? Even if it was sloppy, a sloppy drawing, or if you left too many pencil marks or whatever, it just kind of takes that away. So I'm going to do the same thing with this Distress ink one, except I'm going to use a regular Sharpie marker. So I'm going to do, oh, is this one still wet? No. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to just kind of do like a sketchy outline of the flower petals. Let's go over on this side. Doesn't even have to be accurate. This was awesome. Do some of that in there. Draw some lines going up. Right? So it instantly looks more artsy-fartsy. And then let's add these stems. So if things got lost in the watercoloring part, you just can add the detail now. And it doesn't even have to be correct detail. You know what I mean? So there's that one. I feel like I'm gonna put them side by side. So that's just using a regular Sharpie. So there they are side by side. Now, if you didn't know which one was which, would you be able to tell? I'm not sure that you could. So I feel like there's some green missing here. Doesn't it look kind of weird? It's like I just stopped. It's kind of strange. Let's go ahead and add that there. We'll come back to that in a minute. Let's see. I think it might be fun. Well, not yet. I don't want to do, that's the last thing I want to do, that thing there. All right, I'm going to scoot back out just a little. So the last thing that I show them, which is so fun, is the using the Jane Davenport Incredible pen, which you can also use that in versus using the Pitt pen to do that little bit of a sketchy look, and the Tombow marker. But all I did, so I'm going to just start with the Incredible. Okay, so the Jane Davenport Incredible pen, again, I love this thing. So this is what we did in the workshop. I just kind of took it and I kind of just made like swirlies, right? And so I did this just to kind of give it like a border, you know, and then I did kind of like this ribbony thing. So I did that, and I'll finish it up in a little while. And then with the Distress one, I took the nib part of it, and I did the exact same thing, where I just did like a little swirly border, and then a little like ribbon border thingy, right? And then over here, right? So no big deal, nothing super. Oh, I did do this. I went like this. You got to make those noises. I forgot to do that on this one. So Tombow marker, the Jane Davenport Incredible marker, Obviously, there's a difference in the thickness of the line, if you can see that closely. But what's really cool is I'm going to flip these around the other way, like this. I'm going to take the water brush. I'm going to get some of that green off of there that's still on there. And the Incredible and the Tombow both react to water. So I'm going to scoot you in again. I may not even, there we go, can we see? So watch what happens when you introduce water to, I need more water. Whoops, not that much water. To the Incredible. It kind of gives this like watercolor wash effect. So even if your scribbles weren't all that fantastic, like mine were not, once you do this to it, it just looks so stinking cool. Oops, I'm kind of getting off of the, well, I'm having trouble getting the water to, there we go. So, and obviously the more ink that you put down, the more it's going to spread and react with the water. So your little doodles just turn into this really cool watercolor kind of effect, right? So there's the Incredible pen. Let me go ahead and make sure I'm wiping that off so there's nothing on there. And then the Tombow marker will do the exact same thing. Make sure I got water coming down. Right, so when you scooch up to it, there's more ink down from the Tombow marker because it's a thicker, you know, amount that comes out. Yeah, see, it's almost too much. You gotta be careful. So then you can just drag it out a little bit. And it just gives this really soft, cool, like, look to it. I'm just squeezing more water out here. So it does the same thing as the Incredible pen. So it gives this really cool look to it, right? And let me go ahead and finish this. Can you still see? Yes, you can. Have to check in the monitor just to make sure. So, you know, this also should tell you too that you can watercolor with your Tombow markers. So that's kind of fun. So check that out, right? So there's the two different ones. The Incredible, the Tombow marker. Let me get you both in frame. Let me scoot back a little. So the Tombow marker and then the Jane Davenport Incredible. So there's the two different looks, but it's the same technique. Isn't that cool? So no matter what supplies that you have, you could do this exact same thing. So then the last thing I want to show you guys is to make this like a finished like piece of art. That's what I liked. That's how I like to look at it, like a finished work of art. Is I want to do a little bit of, I'm going to add some water. I'm going to start with the watercolor one. Well, let me start here. I'm going to put a drop or two of water into the Sea Dream color there, and I'm going to put some water over here, maybe a little bit more, because I'm just going to add, I'm not going to paint the whole background, but I'm just going to add a little bit of paint here and there of a different color, or it could be the same color. It doesn't have to be a different color. It could be a blue or the purple, whatever floats your boat. And then I think I'm going to just let it drag off. You know, just, you can't hardly even see it, can you? It's so light. It's so pretty. And I might even put a little bit around the actual image. I need to make sure I keep you in focus, or in frame, not in focus. I don't know, this gives it like a really cool, I think, artsy-fartsy look to it. You guys let me know what you think. And artsy fartsy is not a negative term in my world, so don't anybody, you know, go crazy over that. I like being artsy fartsy. So, and I like showing others how to be artsy fartsy. Okay, so there's that one. And then when it dries, you should be able to see it a little bit clearer. So then for the Distress ink one, I'm going to use that blue, I think. That blue up there. Let me scoot this up a little bit. So this one is the Salty Ocean color. So I'm going to add some water to where I dabbed that. I'm going to add some water to where I want... Whoops, I got into that tumble marker a little bit. And that's okay because it's going to cause this cool look to it. You'll see what I'm talking about here in just a second. And then I'm going to dab some of this color into that water. Right, doesn't this look neat? I just think it makes it look so cool and so like a painting. Even though you're really just squiggling around with some color, no big deal. Yeah. So there's that one. Let me scoot this back. Let me scoot these back up side by side here. So that is like the finished painting.
Oh, should I add some of this? I want to use this so bad. I don't want to put it on here. I'll show you. I want to show you. I just want to show you because I want to use this. This is the Nouveau Aqua Shimmer pen. And so I pulled a couple of my build embellishments out thinking I might have to show you this way. And I've got two out and they're exactly the same. I want you to see they're exactly the same. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of this shimmer pen to one, let it dry, and then show you the difference, okay? So I'm just going to go in, let me scoop you in. Okay, so I'm just going to go in, and let me just give it a squeeze. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Dropped it right there. I'm going to go in, I'm just going to add some color, I'm just going to add some of the shimmer to the petals of the flowers. Like this. I don't know, can you even tell? Let's see that way. Oh yeah, if I tilt it a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that to all these petals. It just adds a little bit of detail, and look how easy this is. I mean, I'm not even being precise at all. So this is my digital, this is my build embellishment set 4, I believe. And then I'm going to go add some to the blue and this little bit of the background, just to give it a little bit of something. Right? Oh my gosh, can you see that? It's so cool looking. Okay, I'm going to let that dry for a second.
Okay, so I think it's completely dry. So I'm going to put them right next to, at least I think it is. Ooh, see, it does, look at the shimmer does come off your finger, onto your finger. Well, that might be a dirty finger. Let me try. Yeah, it does come off, but that's okay. So check that out. You see the difference there? It just gives it a little bit more pizzazz. I like it. So we're going to have to use this little, what's it called again? Aqua Shimmer Glitter Gloss pen from Nouveau. Let me scoot back. There we go. Okay, so guys, I think what I'm going to do is, since I didn't expect this video to be so long, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this video here and I'm going to turn around and film the journal with me, and I'll have this up the next day, okay? So let's do that because I feel like this video's already gone on long enough. So do let me know what you think in the comments below, and let me know if you've tried these techniques before. Sometimes they call them no-line stamping, that kind of thing. So just let me know what you think, and give it a try. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, go ahead and hit this button right here and then hit the bell next to it so that you can be notified when I upload a video. And here is a link to my shop if you want to check out the build embellishments or any of my templates or any of that. And then there might be some videos on the screen that you might enjoy watching. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.